Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm trying to get my face to move down, so hopefully you'll be able to see me. Just trying to get my face to move down a little bit, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and you're enjoying the sessions. Please in the chat, just type, say hello, where you're from. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm trying to get my face to move down, so. Okay, so as you are joining, please just pop into the chat. Tell me where you're from. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. If somebody could tell me how to get my video to move down, that would be wonderful. Oh no, it was just my screen, not anybody else. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tiffany, hi. Kelly, hi. This is really exciting for me. This is I think my third or fourth year doing this. If you do, I'm going to put, hi, Deborah. I am going to put in the chat the link to the presentation for today. So, check that out. That'll give you the link to the presentation. You can obviously a lot of people who, hello from Long Island. A lot of what I do here on what I'm going to share with you over the next half hour, feel free to click on the link and join the presentation. And, I do think that most of it is view only. So if it's not, just, give it a little click. So I'll just wait a couple minutes or so, and then we'll get started and we're good. So hello, hello, hello. I'm doing this both. So if I turn this way, it's because I'm on the computer. So we have New Jersey, Long Island, and like I said, is on Canada. Awesome. Well, welcome. I hope I'm flattered that you're choosing to spend the next half hour with me. There are so many amazing presenters today. Today's going to be a real, it's always a highlight of my summer is the virtual conference. So I'll wait another 2 minutes or so and then we'll get started. Okay. I'm just noticing there's a little bit of an issue with my my link. I'm just going to fix it here. It's actually MLL Summit. So I am going to just fix that. So if you haven't been able to get it, hi. We got to MLL Summit 2021. That should give you our lovely presentation. And I am going to get started because I know everybody wants to check out all these amazing sessions today, but I am just going to really quickly fix this. As you can see, I am currently at a beautiful wall here. I am not on Long Island today. I am actually on vacation with my husband and my family. We are in Delray Beach, Florida for a couple of weeks. So I'm actually in Florida. But just a little bit about me. I'm so glad once again that you're joining. My name is Dr. Katie DiGregorio. I'm the Director of ENL and Instructional Technology at the West Hempstead Union Free School District on Long Island. So West Hempstead, if you're not familiar with Long Island, it's about almost like to Queens. So it's in Nassau County. So a little bit of background before we get started. I'm a former Spanish teacher for 5 years, and then I'm a former ENL teacher. And this year I had the pleasure of joining the West Hempstead Union Free School District as their administrator. So this is a wonderful opportunity for me. I'm so glad to see all of you, and really kind of that gets into what we're going to be talking about today. So our theme is leveraging instructional technology to promote student-centered learning for Mills. So one of the major things here is, as we go through this, is we have some hashtags that we use in our district, and they are RamFam, Ram Pride, and Ram Resolve. But I thought there was a conference here on Long Island, and their theme was Resolve, so I thought this was great. So today what we're going to be going over is what are kids knowing what if our multilingual learners dealing with in 2021, right? And how do we promote that student-centered learning for our students? So just a couple of pictures here. This is some of our graduates that we had this year, and that really kind of is part of the reason why it pushes me forward. And these are some of our kids who had the opportunity to graduate this year. So again, if you're just joining us, please type in the chat. You have questions, you have comments, you have concerns, you have any ideas, throw them in the chat. I will try to get back to you. Okay, so one of the major things I want to talk about when we're talking about technology integration for our English language learners and any student essentially is, are we using $1,000 pencils, right? Are we using new tools to do old work, right? So this concept of $1,000 pencil actually came from Alan November, who's a prominent technology integration person. And he talks about this idea of, are we using things, technology, Seesaw, Buncee, all these wonderful programs to simply just do old work, right? Are we just using it as a device to take notes on, right? So just a little bit of thinking is, most of our learners, okay, that we have right now are born after 1995. This is information that came from a wonderful book. I highly recommend it. It's called The Chromebook Infused Classroom. So I totally recommend you check it out. But these are our students, right? They're born after 1995. They're first born AG. They're born after Google, right? They're tech dependent and not tech savvy. How many of you have students who have a phone but don't necessarily know how to use a computer or how to function on a computer? If you want to throw that in the chat real quick. Well, I know there's a little bit of a delay, but we have so many students who are tech dependent but not tech savvy. And that's part of what this student-centered learning is all about, is how do we build that student capacity? So how many of you have students who are just, they have this in their hands, but not really sure how to use a lot of other things? Just give a sec for a little bit for you guys to catch up. So like I said, feel free, so one of the major things is this is a great little graphic here. I love this graphic here. It's what's happening in an internet minute, right? So take a look at that. These are what our multilingual learners are competing with in 2021, right? There is, in one internet minute, right? There are 200,000 people are tweeting. There's like 5,000 downloads on TikTok, right? Like I said, feel free, there is 28,000 subscribers are watching YouTube. 3.4 million snaps are created, right? So these are what our multilingual learners are combating against. Not only are they struggling with language acquisition, but they're also competing with all of these crazy things. So if you want to just throw in the chat real quick, what are your thoughts on that? How do you think that some of these things have impacted our multilingual learners this year, and maybe something that that kind of stands out to you as you're looking at that graphic? Again, I like to just kind of engage with my community and and see what's going on in the chat. So please Type on there what stands out to you. Why is this shocking to you? How can we help leverage this? Just want to get some thoughts before I go forward. Okay. So also, our students are also the ones that can share their attention span. They're short. They need to have multiple senses. I'm just checking the Twitter feed here. We're all good. Okay. So how do we promote technology integration for our students, right? We want to decide on a clear plan for technology, right? So when you're choosing how to use technology in the classroom, it's really important that we when we're designing our lessons, that there's a purpose there, right? So how are the students going to use it, right? Are we just using it for using sake, or what's the objective, right? How do we differentiate, to meet all the needs of all of our learners, right? We are teachers of all students, even though our MELs are our students. We are teachers of all, right? And in what ways can students participate in the lesson that meets their needs? So keep that in the back of your mind. Those are my 3 crucial criterion for designing student-centered learning with technology, right? So lessons, when you're designing a lesson, the lesson should be in a constant state of progression, right? We want our lessons to continually evolve, right? And Robin brought up a good point. The technology is constantly changing. How do we use that to level up our lessons for our students so that they are doing phenomenal work, right? So just keep those in the back of your mind. Yep, I'm going to put the presentation in again. Okay, great. All right, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty here. So the idea is that we are talking about student agency and personalization and promoting student learning, right? So this is something that my district has really started to subscribe to, and it's going to be a real big push for us next year, is this idea of the 4 shifts protocol. We want to shift our students' learning to be deeper thinking, authentic, student-centered, and personalized, as well as technology infusion. So we are going to talk mostly about here in the next 15, 20 minutes, if I can go a little faster, is how do we promote that, right? So one of the major things to get student-centered learning is project-based learning. Our district uses the Buck Institute as a crucial component of designing lessons. Our multilingual learners this year had an 80% passing rate in both the mid-year and the end of the year assessments. Due to COVID and the pandemic, we really didn't have students taking the state assessments, right? So our students created projects based on students' interest in learning, right? So these are the gold standards. These are the 7 essential project design elements. PBL Works, I'll throw it in the chat. PBL Works on Twitter, a phenomenal resource for you to check out. But MELs can thrive when you provide them with compelling input, right? We want to provide them with the opportunity to thrive, right? So giving them something that they are interested in, that's going to make their language acquisition so much more rich for you, right? How can we promote this idea of compelling input, right? So project-based learning really promotes student agency, voice, and choice. My teachers as well, and in my own practice when I was teaching, you put mile markers in, you put scaffolds, right? You put the things in place for students to be successful, right? So here's some examples. What does successful integration look like? Okay. So this is a quote from Alan November. Please feel free to read it. But the end of the year alternate assessments this year, I'm going to show you some examples. The students used Book Creator. How many of you are familiar with Book Creator? While I pull that up, think about it. How many of you are familiar with Book Creator? Throw that in the chat while I pull up this link. All right, so now I have it. Book Creator is a phenomenal tool. It's free. Who doesn't love free stuff? I love free tools. Book Creator is free. Students can put so many things in Book Creator for them to showcase their learning, right? So this year in biology, the final project was they had to showcase their understanding of some of the key living environment concepts, right? So Book Creator allows kids to create videos, text, pictures. They have amazing templates, and all they do is they're creating it in one space, and it creates a library. And what's great about Book Creator, and I'll show you right here, these are some examples. These are some of the ENL students who created book creations for their final projects, right? So these are some of the kids and their final projects. I'm just going to show it to you really quick. And what's also great too is it can put audio in it. Kids can put audio in it so they can record over it, right? It creates a beautiful space for the projects. So these are some examples, and I'm just going to pull up this one student here. And he did an ABC book of all of the major vocabulary he needed for living environment. Do you know how difficult the living environment regions is in New York State? It is so difficult. So this is Giovanni's, okay? He created this book with these photos, and he put all of his text in there. It is a phenomenal tool to use, and it's free, and you get up to 40 books for free, right? So powerful. Really great. Really enjoy it. I think that it is a game changer for our ENL students or MELs. But I highly suggest that you check out Book Creator. They have all these fantastic templates, but I mean, just look at these projects, right? This is a student who in New York State is on the transitioning, exiting, emerging into the transitioning level. He made this project. It's fantastic, right? Let me go back and show you another one. Let's see. This girl, this is her son. He's another one. He has a video, like you can put videos in this, right? So Book Creator, such a powerful tool. Look at this. This is phenomenal. The students had to do the work. They got to pick what they wanted to showcase, right? They got to tell us what they learned throughout the year, right? So they had to reflect. So I highly recommend that you check out Book Creator for student-centered learning. They get to be the creators of their content. And I'll just show you really quick because I know we have here. What's really great is if you want to create a new book, I'll show you really quick. They have these phenomenal templates. Check these out. And what's great about them is the kids can manipulate them and make them whatever they want, right? Hopefully this is helpful for you, but it's a great, super powerful tool, easy to use, very user-friendly. Third graders are using it, second graders are using it, but check out the templates because they are a game changer. And I used Book Creator when I was a teacher, and now I'm really pushing it in my district as a director and instructional tech. So I highly recommend Book Creator. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's bookcreator.com. All right, so let's get back here. So again, we also had our ENL students do mid-year interdisciplinary PBLs. I'm going to skip that for right now. I will come back to it. But I want you to remember this idea. Engagement is not a language barrier. Students can be engaged in their lessons if you design them right? Students can love to design and create these lessons and be passionate about what they're doing if you design lessons that has their thoughts and has their interests in mind. So keep that in the back of your mind. Engagement is not a language barrier. Engagement can be achieved by all students, right? Okay, so I like here, this is another great activity, and I highly recommend it. It's something that I've used a lot. And what you use it with Jamboard. Hopefully we're all pretty familiar with Jamboard. this past year, we've really gone full bore with Google and all of these whiteboard apps, but this is a great strategy. It's all about getting students to ask the right questions, right? Think about it. How many times do students not really know how to ask a question, or they're afraid to ask it because they don't want to, they don't want to have that perception that they don't know? This is a phenomenal activity. And again, it all goes back to student-centered and using technology, right? So it's, and again, and if you check out the presentation there, you'll see that there's some resources here, but it's the asking essential questions template. And what you do is you give the students like a theme, right? So I'm going to click here on my Jamboard. And again, please throw questions in the chat. I'm checking it out. I want to hear from you, all of you. I do hope that you're enjoying this. I'm trying to share as much as I can in a limited amount of time, right? So what you do is you give them a focus, right? So this I did on Jamboard. You give them a focus, and then what you do is you ask them to kind of brain dump. How many questions do you have about this topic, right? So this is something that I've done a few times at a few of my PDs is, what do you know about streaming services, right? So you ask the kids to they don't have to put their names. It lowers that affective filter for our kids, right? And all they do is they just dump. How many questions do you have? How many questions do you have? And you time it. And then what happens is through this activity, you actually are using the student's interest to frame your aims for the day, right? So now you have all of the things that the kids want to know about, and now you can frame your lessons using them as the part of it, right? And just throw this right on Jamboard. So easy, such a simple technology tool to use. And I do think that it's so simple, but it's so complex, right? And then what you have the kids do is then they prioritize them using the text. You can have them maybe comment on each other's through Jamboard, but the asking essential questions activity is life-changing. And this is an activity that I had done through this author. His name's Trevor McKenzie. He has several books on inquiry-based learning. And this slideshow right here is actually, it walks you through the process. But again, so simple, something that you can technify in a heartbeat. Throw it on Jamboard. Use it as like a virtual retrieval practice or a brain dump, right? Have them generate the aims for the day or generate the aims for the unit. So again, if you follow through this slideshow, it walks you through it. But I used this when I taught 12th grade government, and I had my students, we take for granted what kids do and do not know, right? So we were talking about, we gave them the scope and sequence. And I said, well, okay, here are the topics. And we had them do it right on Jamboard. What do you know about this focus? Then we had them work in small groups, organize on Jamboard. How do you feel about them? Are they simple yes or no questions, right? Such a simple activity to do, but it will change your practice because you are putting the students at the forefront of what they're learning, okay? So that's the asking essential questions technified with Jamboard. I'm gonna skip this for now just for the sake of time. Okay, this is a game changer. I love this activity. Please, please, please try this. So it's called the flip hunt. I'm assuming many of us are familiar with Flipgrid, but a flip hunt is a digital scavenger hunt on Flipgrid. And what you do is you provide the students with a task, and then you provide them with a link to post their response on Flipgrid. Now, what's amazing about Flipgrid now is we may have some Mels who are not ready to put their face on screen, but it's got the mic only feature. Oh, game changer, right? So awesome. So what you do is you give the students a variety of different tasks in increasing levels of difficulty, and you assign them a point value. And what's awesome about it is that they can do this at their own pace, and they're like looking for different things. You can give them a topic. So I'm just going to show you really quick. This is one that I had worked on as a director with a teacher, and she teaches facts, but so what you do is you give the kids a variety of different tasks, right? So I did it by colors. So you have a green, you have a yellow, you have a purple, you know, you may have all these different tasks, but each task has a different point value, right? So this one here is actually, she teaches family and consumer science, right? So these are yellow tasks. So if you complete this, you get 3 points. And the kids are kind of self-pacing and self-judging. And, you know, we as the teachers and myself, when I was doing this for another group, I went in and I watched them, but there's no right or wrong answer. It's for the students to showcase their learning of a particular topic. So I'm just going to go back to my slide here. This is one of my teachers. She is a 6th grade teacher at one of our buildings, and she did this for publishing. And the kids thrived beyond belief. It is such a simple concept. You give a task, you give the link to the Flipgrid, and then you give a point value. And then maybe what you could do is you give them like a checkbox. But it is such a not life-changing. I mean, maybe it is. It is such a simple tweak in your practice that using Flipgrid for students to then practice their oral fluency, their digital fluency, they're responding with topics, they're responding with purposefulness, and it's a little bit of a game, right? And who doesn't love games, right? So I highly recommend that you check out a Flip Hunt because it is amazing. Okay. The Flip Hunt, amazing. Highly recommend it. Check it out. You can email me and I can totally walk you through it and I can show you some templates, right? Okay. I know we only have a couple of minutes left, but I think this one is a really nice, I just want to just double check. I know we have a few more minutes. Nobody wants to hear my voice. I'm just going to go here because I think this is really nice. So this year I worked with the kindergarten. We have a kindergarten center, and these are 2 of the classes. And we used an app on the iPad called Do Ink. And it is so easy. It's a little squid, and it's a green screen app. So cool. And I'll talk about Do Ink first. Shout out to Deborah. I know you're watching, and this is the class. But Do Ink, it's an app where the kids become whatever the background is, right? So this year, at the end of the year, we asked the kids, well, what was your favorite part of Chestnut Street? And we put the power in their hands. We gave them the iPad, and we used the Do Ink app. And the first thing they did was they colored a picture. And I got this from Tracy Piltz. If you don't follow her on Twitter, you should. She's amazing stuff. They colored a picture of Chestnut Street. And then what they did is they went into a green screen. We have like one of those pop-up tents. And they went into a pod. And then they recorded and showed us what they loved about Chestnut Street. So I'm going to play this video for you. And you'll see it's kind of cute. This is one of our Mels. He's made tremendous strides. Let me show you really quick. Deborah, we can hear you in the background. But that student has made tremendous progress throughout the year, right? He's an ENL student, right? And he used Do Ink to tell us with his own picture about why he loved his year at Chestnut Street School. Such a simple app, and I'll just show you really quick on the phone. I think I do have it. Do Ink. It's the little squid. It's great. They have great tutorials. Super simple to use. But I do recommend you use that. And then the last thing is we used a lot of Seesaw this year. Seesaw is a simple tool that you can use, but I do want to just close out really quickly with, I have a few. Okay, we're going to finish up with this. So to have students, I know we're a little over, but that's okay. You guys can go back and watch this, but a book bento. It's kind of a play on a traditional Japanese food, the bento boxes, right? So basically what a book bento is students are going to take a picture or draw a picture of something that showcases their understanding of a topic. And you'll see here on the screen, this is actually my example here of The Great Gatsby. So I found 3 things that helped me understand key concepts in the book, The Great Gatsby, right? So you can digitize this, and I will highly recommend this idea. I found this, Lisa Highfill, the writer of the Hyperdoc Handbook, Amanda Sandoval, she's another real big person I follow. It came up with this idea of a book bento, and Amanda Sandoval has great templates, so I shout out to her, love to give her credit, but it's a nice way for you to have students do something digitally to showcase their learning. So I'm just going to show you 2 really quick. So I supported a class which had some MELs in it, and they created a bento box of key concepts of probability. They chose what they wanted to show us. They chose what they wanted to do, right? They were the ones that showcased their learning. So a book bento box can essentially be anything. It could be, what are the sounds that you've learned this year? Or, what do you remember about the topic? And let them pick. You will be amazed at what they come up with, right? Again, I know I'm going so fast, but I don't want to take your time, but I did want to just show you a couple of things that you can use. I do appreciate it. I'm just going to go back really quick. So some of the major takeaways, I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to design the lessons with the kids. Let them design it. Let them pick the tech tools that they're going to use. Find compelling input in whatever subject area you are teaching, right? Whether you're a math teacher, science teacher, English teacher, social studies teacher, help them find a topic. If you want to click here, this is the 4 shifts protocol, but I do think it's really important. It'll help guide your lessons and it'll help you answer questions when you're designing it. Be a designer, not an assigner, okay? I want you to design student-centered learning using Jamboard, Do Ink, the green screen, right? The Google Drawings, okay? And just a little bit here, I'm just going to close out with this. I know, I do hope you learned something over this last half hour. Thank you so much for joining me. There's so much I could talk about, but I'm so passionate about this. We want to make our thinking visible, give our students a voice. We want to share their work. This is my contact information. That's my my Twitter handle. Oh, I don't know what happened to it. I'll throw it up here in the chat. At Dig ENL Tech. That's my Twitter handle, and that's my email address. But I do want to say thank you for taking your time today to watch. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something. It was super fast. I try to talk as fast as I can as a New Yorker, but I do want to say, continue to build your student-centered learning lessons with technology in mind. Give me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @DigENLTech. I threw it in the chat. You have my information. I'll throw out my email, but I do hope that you enjoyed this session. Go back and watch. Go back and watch so many amazing. I can't wait to go watch so many. And I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it.